Hello everyone, Chick here with another Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the third-party Grand Raijin, and briefly talk about Raijin, which will be in a future review, but of course will be making an appearance because, you know, he's part of Grand Raijin. The trailer was released quite some time ago, and I was starting to give up hope that they would ever release Raijin, but they finally did, so there'll be a future review for that one. Alright, bear with me with this guy, because I have my stand at full height, yeah, I should probably see about getting a tripod that's a little bit taller, or can be adjusted a bit higher, or have a vertical adjuster for like the camera that I can slide up and down. I was not originally planning on starting off with the KFC Super Ginrai in the Super Ginrai combined mode configuration, but just due to how difficult it is to transform this guy in general, like I am gonna go against what I normally do, and I'm just going to start off with the combined mode just because of his knee joints. Like, his knee joints are some of the weakest for something of this size that I have seen. Other than that, he doesn't seem too bad for stability in the combined mode. I will admit I haven't taken much of a look at his cab as of yet. I guess Raijin, because they call him Raijin, Grand Raijin, and I'm not sure what they're going to call the God Bomber figure. Part of me really wants to get that one. I do have the minimum deposit on Shozi's store, but I don't know if it's with how this guy is, if it's something that I want to get, because if we're still relying on these knee joints and adding even more weight up here, back here, and on the legs, I don't know unless they come up with an upgrade or a fix like with that to replace like the knee joints or something. Like, I just think that I might have to cut my losses and either get rid of him or just keep him as is. Don't worry about God Bomber and just think about the masterpiece Ginrai. These guns come with the trailer and all that. I don't believe he came with any weapons. He came with a matrix, the engine, and then I think that's it. And speaking of the matrix, I mean, this will be more for when I review him specifically, but he does come with a gold plastic matrix with blue in the plastic in the middle. It is plastic, it's not solid metal. There are 3 character cards that come with the 2 different boxes. There is one for Engine, which I think is funny, you know, engine, but with a J instead. His stats are like this. I think it's there's not a huge jump. There is a huge jump from Engine to Raijin, and then on the other side there's artwork of the characters, which I think is really cool. But going from Raijin to Grand Raijin, there is not very much. It's like just 2 or 3 stats that go up like another point. And I have a feeling, I very suspect that their God Ginrai is going to be like pretty much maxed out. And I will admit, these cards are pretty cool. I will admit, if I ever get rid of these guys, I'm probably still going to keep the cards because I just love collecting character cards. There are alternate pieces to make this more like Power Master Optimus Prime. I will admit, Power Master Optimus Prime does have some aesthetics that I think are kind of cool. It's just, Power Master Optimus Prime is only really in the comics. I haven't read the comics, which I should rectify at some point. And I only really know him as Super Ginrai from the Super God Master Force cartoon. Okay, let's bring him forward. And also, these like to go droop. Like, they don't like to stay in place. This one is actually surprisingly staying in place for now. Another, you know, I'll work my top way down. This is really loose, like this trailer hitch. Since I didn't have the cab until recently, I haven't had a chance really to see how well it works with the trailer, if this thing will just, you know, pop loose or whatever and not even really be able to tow the trailer, which would be a real shame. Such a pain. It's figures like this to an extent that have made me want to go back to Chug slash even Masterpiece to an extent. Some of them are like this and I don't like it, but go to Chug or the somewhat simpler Masterpiece figures. Anyway, but the back looks very clean. I like how it looks, other than the fact that this is just so loose and then that likes to flop down. I love the aesthetics. Like, that's why I have a love-hate relationship with this guy, because he is very aesthetically pleasing. Like, and look at his legs. Like, it's just so clean. It's clearly part of a trailer, but at the same time, it's clean legs. It's not super boxy. And then also I have the alternate hands on to make them more accurate to the anime rather than Power Master Optimus Prime. Okay, and I guess I really should bring him down so that I can show you his face really up close, but he has a really nice detail on there. I'm pretty sure that you can remove his face and put batteries in there for the eyes. I remember looking in the instructions and did not have the right batteries on hand, so I wasn't able to do it, so I can't really show you guys right now. But I do love the detail, the metallic blue. It just looks so stunning. Like, I love it. And then also something that came with Raijin, that's an upgrade, is this panel right here, which allows for the head to be further forward in the combined mode, and it's just so cool. And then the details, like, whoops, obviously you can see his crotch right here, has some nice painted detail, but yeah, okay, I'm starting to get ramble some more, but let's get this tilted back up, and let's go ahead and take his guns out. Just take a quick look at the guns. They are pretty cool. This is for like vehicle mode storage, this is for robot mode use only. There are tabs that are supposed to help hold them in place, but the problem is they just don't stay in too great. But his hands are super articulated. Let's see, there we are. But they did come a little bit loose. Like, as you know, it doesn't take much to knock them loose. But he does have fully articulated hands. Yes, I know I'm jumping around. I was supposed to do upper body and then work my way down, but I was taking out the guns out of his hands anyway. But as you can see, the fingers can splay a lot, like a lot, and that's really cool. They're all screwed in, and there's pins for every single joint, like metal pins for every joint, which is amazing. Because on some of the other third-party figures, sure, they're articulated, but it's by friction, little peg things, and then they can, if they get a little deformed or a little loose, and then they'll just pop off like nobody's business. The only actual ball joint that isn't hinged on is right at the base of the thumb, and everything else is pinned in. And I just love articulation. Like, this is the only time where I think that fully articulated fingers and hands are actually a good idea, is when they're properly executed like this. I will say, even with the way the guns tab in, I mean, I'm glad that they do have the tabs in, but this is where I like the 5mm ports. It just makes things so much easier. Just, you know, wiggle in, you have a gun, pop it out, rather than like, all right, let's position the fingers just so that it'll hold the gun and hopefully not drop it. Okay, so articulation up here. I will say there is the downside. The main downside of this guy is that since it's more complex than the original, obviously there's moving parts in here, so it does make this quite flimsy feeling. But the arms are on a ratchet. Shoulders can do a full 360. Arms. The problem is also with the optional parts, I might actually glue these on since I have no... Well, that's the problem, is if I plan on selling them at some point, if I glue it on, then they might be upset because, you know, then they can't switch it out for the comic book. But they can go out about that far. Just be careful that you don't lose those shoulder parts. And then you get bicep rotation. You get a little over 90-degree bend at the elbow. You also get forearm rotation in addition to the elbow rotation. Wrist rotation, and we already went over the hands. It's pretty much a fully articulated hand. Oh yeah, head. You can look up and down quite a bit. Can do a full 360. Doesn't have wibbly wobbly, but that's because he has a hinge here. Oh, actually he can do a little bit of head tilt, but that's not because of a ball joint. It's because of an extra hinge up there. So that's actually really cool. I don't see that very often. Let's see. Hips can do side to side. There is a stiff waist ratchet. He probably could do a full 360 in this configuration, but it feels like there's some stuff with the cab getting in the way of that. But realistically, you don't really need him to do a full 360. These panels can flip forward, so you can on a thick ratchet. And as you can see, as soon as I lift up his leg, his knees just decide to go down. Like, they use nice ratchets for his arms. Why can't they do the same for the legs? Like, it's a very soft ratchet. It's just that loose. It's like getting the cab in. When once I figured out how to actually get in the cab in properly, it wasn't too bad. But man, oh man, was it a pain to get it all figured out. But yeah, they can go for it that far. And then yeah, they have such thick ratchets for the hips, but yet they don't have them for the knees. Like I said, the design choice here doesn't make sense to me. Can do the full splits, and that oh boy, does have a nice stiff thigh rotation. Like, the thigh rotation feels like it's stronger than the knee. You do get about 9-degree bend at the knee, but good luck getting him to do any pose with just relying on the stability of one leg. Then, yep, see, there he goes. Like, that's the problem. And then there goes the backpack. Like, it's so loose up there. Okay, and then he does have some ankle tiltage, but it's very loose. And then as you can see, problems. Like, that's why I said this is a guy where he looks aesthetically pleasing, and you should just pose him and leave him kind of guy. Like, it's honestly that bad. I mean, with the exception of the backpack, like, from the head to the waist and thighs, articulation is acceptable. Like, it's good. But as soon as you go the knees down, it's abysmal. Like, it's really sad. Like, because like I said, this guy is so cool otherwise. The guns also, I guess, are technically articulated. They are on hinges, and you can move them up and down, and they're only pegged in, so you can take them off, because I'm sure that, well, actually, I don't know. It depends on how they go about attaching God Bomber, but then again, like I said, with how much trouble he is as it is right now, I don't know if that's something I'm going to want to do. Okay, let's see. Another issue with this guy is the knees, like, not just the knee joints, but the way they connect. Like, see this little tab right in here? It pegs right into the side of his knee. That is a plastic. It's already stressed out. And then you rely also on this little screw peg to hold the knee attached. Like, that is pretty sturdy. This part right here, not so much. And it wouldn't take too much probably to shear that off, especially if you don't have this in properly, or it comes loose, and then this is the only thing supporting the weight of the knee. Yeah, so this guy definitely has some issues. I think if they had designed it just a little bit better, I'm not even saying necessarily how it transforms or anything like that, just fix those couple minor issues, and then I'm sure that this figure would be so much more fun to mess around with. One more thing to talk about with regards to this combined mode, or not combined mode, but I suppose Super Ginrai, or the trailer part, or I guess Grand Raijin, that you do need to be careful about is that tab broke loose on that pin, and it slides relatively freely. So instead of sliding the pin out, it will just slide along that pin, causing some issues. I so much want to love this guy. It's just, everything's screaming at me like, get rid of it, don't keep it, it's bad. Not that it's bad, it's just, well, okay, it is. It has some bad aspects. And then also another thing is the screws for the hands, they're kind of stripped out now. So like if I did sell it, they might have a very hard time, if at all, being able to get the hands swapped out to be Power Master Optimus Prime's hands. Very conflicted on this guy. And for comparison, here we have the original Power Master Optimus Prime. The original Super Ginrai in comparison. Like, he is so much smaller. Like, he barely is, the top of his head barely comes up above KFC's crotch. So I mean, this guy is something else in size. Like, he is immense. Normally, I would love to have this guy rotating on the turntable, but given the instability of his knees, I'm just going to forego that for this review. And as you may have noticed, I didn't do any transformations for this one. I don't think I'm going to show the transformation on camera, but I will at some point for Raijin. I will show off the trailer and the base modes, but I don't think I'm going to show the transformation, or at least not the way I normally would. Maybe just in bits and pieces as I'm able to do it. Anyway, but if you like this odd review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.